It is week number 8 of the high school football season, and tonight, the Blue Streaks of Madison made the short trek down south to Geauga County to take on your Chardon Hilltoppers. How you doing, everyone? Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you for this one as we get you set for the big homecoming game tonight here in Chardon. Ryan, Toppers face a winless opponent, and probably a good thing as they're coming off one of their worst offensive halves of the year, that second half against New Philadelphia last week.
Yeah, no way around it. That was a tough second half for the Hilltopper offense a week ago. You know, tough place to play, good program, but no one, I don't think, on the Hilltopper side of the field was happy with how the second half went offensively, and they'll be looking to get healthy tonight, and I'd expect Alex Henry to bounce back with a big game. Lots of reason for energy tonight. You've got homecoming, and you're taking on a Madison team that, frankly, they've had a tough year all year coming in at 0-7, so good opportunity to get some things ironed out, and I would expect the Hilltoppers to do that tonight.
Absolutely, and on the other side of the football, I don't know if the Hilltoppers could be playing much better. 2 consecutive shutouts, the defense just looks spectacular.
Yeah, the Hilltoppers defense is as good as they come, probably one of the best defenses in Division III this year, and they looked absolutely spectacular a week ago. They get off the field on third down, they create turnovers. Really, the defense is an offensive weapon for the Hilltoppers this year as they give the offense short fields to work with. So looking for more to continue from the Hilltopper defense, as the Hilltopper defense has been a key to this 7-0 start.
Folks, we invite you to stick around. It should be a very fun game for the Chardon fans. But more importantly, it is homecoming night tonight. So with that, we step aside as we come back with the homecoming festivities.
Good evening once again, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2021 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field by Senior Drum Major Joseph Joquin. A huge shout out to band parent Amy Rodeker and her family, as well as band grandparent Gloria Korotansky for all their help this year with our band uniforms. We appreciate all your help. All right, Topper fans, put your hands together for the Chardon High School Fight Song. Band parents, please enter the field and stand by your son or daughter. Tonight, the Hilltopper Marching Band would like to recognize all our awesome band parents. We appreciate all your support, including renting and purchasing instruments, coming to concerts, listening to us practice, volunteering for the band, chaperoning, and fundraising. Without the support of our outstanding parents, we would not have our great band program. Let's have a hand for all of our good-looking band parents. Now, ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand if you are able, and gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor our country with the national anthem and remain standing for the Chardon High School alma mater. All right, let's have one more hand for our band parents as they exit the field. All right, next up, if you watch football on television, you've heard this high-powered and explosive theme song. Here is the NFL on Fox. All right, Hilltoppers, put your hands together for the Hey Song.
And here come your defending state champion and Western Reserve Conference champion, Chardon Hilltoppers. Welcome, everyone. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here on GTV. And Ryan, boy, we've got a good one tonight. Hilltoppers hosting the Madison Blue Streaks. This is the first time we have seen Madison, folks, in 2 years.
Yeah, I didn't see the Blue Streaks last year, just a couple of seasons ago, though, Matt. This was a tight matchup. The Hilltoppers had to win 10-3. Now, the defensive coordinator who held the Hilltoppers to 10 points a couple of years ago, Coach Gilligan, now the head coach over at Madison. So, new head coach, but very familiar with the Hilltoppers, especially on the offensive side of the ball, as he was the defensive coordinator at Madison for about the past decade.
Indeed, he was. And Madison, with Mike Gilligan as the head coach, has played the Hilltoppers tough, no doubt about that. Problem for Madison is it has been a very rough year for them, and they have struggled both offensively and they have struggled defensively as well. And when you begin to look at the stats for Madison, and when you really start to look at what they've done this year, it streams right there that they have had a very tough year. I mean, 0-7 at this point in time, and I mean, their closest loss was 20-37 to Geneva in week 1. They fell to North 28-7, but outside of that, they've scored 20, 7, 14, 0, 7, and 15 points as the season has progressed. Conversely, the Hilltoppers coming off a very convincing 21-0 win over New Philadelphia. Look, it's a game where they played very good in the first half, no doubt about that. Defense spectacular in both halves. Would the Hilltoppers have liked to clean some things up in the second half, put some points on the board? Absolutely. But you're talking a 3+ hour bus ride down to New Philadelphia, 3+ hours back, and they shut out a team that was a playoff team last year, and it's going to be a playoff team this year.
Yeah, the Hilltoppers really dominated the first half of that game. New Philadelphia came out with a different energy in the second half, and while New Philadelphia was able to keep the offense for the Hilltoppers off the board in the second half, New Philadelphia still would not move the football on that defense. So for a Madison team that struggled to score this year, they're coming in to face probably the best defense on their schedule tonight.
Absolutely. This game means a ton for the Hilltoppers because South and Kenston are playing tonight, and if South wins, that essentially eliminates Kenston from contention for the title. A little bit of a squib kick. It's heading out of bounds, and it does. So the Hilltoppers will get some good starting field position.
Well, what we heard about Madison coming in tonight, Matt, is if you watch their game film throughout the year, multiple games, they squib a lot. They do not kick off a lot, so we'll probably see a lot of that squib here tonight.
Toppers will begin the ball on their own 35-yard line as they work their way right to left across your TV screen. Coach Mitch Hewitt now talking over this with the officials. He may be arguing he wants a re-kick here.
I'm not sure. I think he's discussing what was the penalty here. Yeah, so
Hilltoppers take over at the 39.
They'll be at the 39-yard line. So out comes Alex Henry, the junior, 6'3", 195, to lead the squad. Henry, of course, has some great players around him in the backfield, including Sean Carr, the senior battering ram. Give left sides to Ryan Peterson. Peterson up near the 50-yard line.
Alex Henry on the keeper.
Check that was Henry on the keeper.
Yeah, that was a keeper there to get things started, and Alex Henry picks up about 9 yards. I like the play call there as Henry couldn't get much going on the ground or in the air a week ago himself, but there the first call of the game goes to Henry, and he picks up 9 yards. Good way to get Alex Henry started tonight.
Front five include Adam Jackson, Simon Rodriguez, Aiden Ishii, Logan Bryan, and TJ Altman for the Hilltoppers. Nathaniel Salke was your starting wide receiver. Henry again looking to go left side across the 50, 45, and picks up the first down.
Move the chains, and so you call Alex Henry's number on the first 2 plays. He gives you the first down, and last week, Sean Carr did a great job of carrying the load, scoring those 3 touchdowns for the Hilltoppers a week ago, but ultimately this offense is going to move through Alex Henry, so good to see him get the first 2 play calls and pick up the first down on the ground.
Hilltoppers had 194 total offensive yards, 194 rushing yards last week. This time the give is to Sean Carr. Carr picks up the first down and more across the 35 down near the 30.
Logan Bryant opens up the hole for him, and he runs by that offensive line, and Sean Carr found the opening in the second level and picks up a first down. So in the early going, the Hilltoppers moving the football here against the Blue Streaks.
Well, after his performance last week, Carr moved within about 40-some yards of Henry for the team lead in rushing. And you got to imagine that if they give the senior a steady dose of the football tonight, he very well could be the leading rusher. We'll see what happens, though. 1st and 10 from the Madison 32. And Henry, the keeper, as he crosses the 25-yard line. Nice gain there by Alex Henry.
Henry able to step out of the initial tackle there, as looked like a linebacker had him wrapped up, but unable to bring him down was Aiden Sample. And Henry was able to pick up some extra yardage.
Well, this is what you want to see from the Hilltoppers, is them moving the football and having some nice runs.
And, you look at the way this game's set up with kind of a tough second half for the Hilltopper offense. You're expecting that offense to come out energized this week, and they're going against an 0-7 team, and it's how it's starting.
Making his way toward the end zone. He is Sean Carr, the 25-yard touchdown run.
Just as I was saying, you would expect them to come in energized as an offense, and only took them 6 plays, Matt, to get down the field and into the end zone for a touchdown. I think this team is eyeing a running clock tonight, and they're off to a good start. So Sean Carr, on the homecoming court, scores the touchdown.
Now the homecoming king's about to, or is it Grand Marshal? King or Grand, one of the two. But regardless, Nathan Tagger out to attempt the PAT.
The extra point.
And I think it's the homecoming king here.
Yeah, I thought it was, I'm pretty sure it's the king.
Some schools it's Grand Marshal, others it's king, but he was crowned the king tonight.
Yes.
And no doubt about that one, through the uprights, and good. So 10:24 to play in this one. Hilltoppers strike first, and they lead 7-0.
Well, Matt, you get to be voted king when you hit the game-winning field goal in the state championship game a year ago, comes back as the homecoming king, and knocks in his first PAT of the night. Hey, tonight's special cable cast is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees, and we'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding tonight's contest, for their year-round support. They are Burton Village, Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all our viewers for their support.
Stop by and check out this year's new merchandise.
Well, the Hilltoppers will get to bring the defense out on the field. And, folks, it's a defense you do not want to play against, as New Philly learned that last week.
Yeah, very difficult treading there. And, New Philadelphia, they had gotten something going in the second half on the defensive side of the ball themselves, but they turn it over. Their offense just couldn't move against this Hilltopper defense. And while the Hilltoppers may not have created those turnovers in the second half a week ago, they did the other thing they do so well, which is get off the field on 3rd down and 4th down as well in that second half a week ago.
Well, as the season has progressed, we have heard the coaching staff make more and more comparisons to last year's defense, which was just a all-time great here at Chardon. Return man going to bring it across the 15 up near the 20-yard line, and that's where the Blue Streaks will be set to take over. But
I mean, when you go through some of the names in this Hilltopper starting defense, Matt, this is arguably right up there with last year's as far as being good talented-wise.
Absolutely. The numbers that they're putting up are just impressive, to say the least.
Got 2 great corners out there, and Bruce and Liebhart. You've got an excellent defensive line. Great play from Felger, Washington, McDonald up front all year. Linebacking core has been solid as well. Just great play all the way around.
Michael O'Brien, the quarterback from the gun, claps his hands, has a man in motion, drops back to pass. Feeling a lot of pressure, going to dump it off and throws it incomplete toward the left side.
Well, first play of the game, he sees Brody Dotson charging at him untouched down there, Matt, and he just very quickly threw the football away.
Yeah, I'd throw it away too.
Yeah, so would I.
You look at the Hilltoppers starters up front. You're going to see guys like Alex McDonald, Michael Washington, Cooper Felger, and we'll see some Alex Kisley as well. The linebackers tonight going to include Christian Hall, Heath Fetchick, Brody Dotson, Ryan Peterson, and Rocco Perico. In the secondary, guys like Trey Liebhart, A.J. Bruce, Nathaniel Salka, and Leo Columbi. Blue Streaks will try to run the ball, and they'll get up near the 30-yard line.
Second effort kept him going. I don't know how he managed to work his way out of that initial pressure.
It was Bryant Perkins on the run.
But Perkins ends up getting out about a 7-yard pickup. Looked like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, just kept his legs moving.
Trey Liebhart on the tackle.
Clock running 9:40 and counting here in the first quarter. Toppers up 7-0. This is the Blue Streaks' first possession of the game. They'll keep it on the ground again as that time O'Brien tries to go left side, met a couple Hilltoppers and bounced back and down.
And there you go, third down. You get off the field if you're the Hilltoppers as you make the play.
Gain of 1.
Gain of a yard. Madison.
Sets up a 4th down for the Blue Streaks.
They look like they're thinking about it.
I would not recommend it.
I would not either.
4th down and about 1 for the Blue Streaks. And they are indeed going to be going for it at this point in time. And now Carson Alley in at QB. Dual threat Alley going to try to go right side. He picks it up as he crosses the 35 out near the 37. Gets the gutsy first down.
Yeah, gutsy call indeed. And you see Coach Mike Gilligan trusting his offense there, saying, this is 1 yard. I know they're a really good defense. Let's just get out there, pick it up, and move the chains, and they did. So important first down there for Madison. The Blue Streaks can have a good feeling to get this game started.
Not often you see the Hilltoppers give up a first down and 4th down, I beg your pardon. 1st and 10, Blue Streaks from the 38. O'Brien from the gun. Man goes in motion. He will hand it off, and a nice tackle behind the line of scrimmage. Boy, Toppers got in there quick, and they did not let Alley do much.
Well, it looks like I see Zoran Vujiklia got in there to get the stop for the Hilltoppers. Pickup of only a yard for the Blue Streaks.
Mitchell Polovic now in the game as the running back check that he's going to come over here, line up as the receiver right side. So 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left, a couple of backs in that formation for O'Brien. Looking to throw, feeling some pressure. He stepped up and he is dropped. Dotson. Brody Dotson got in there and got the sack.
Yeah, Brody Dotson got back there, and honestly, it really looked like Brody Dotson was kind of sneaking in behind Alex Kisley there, as it looked like Brian had his attention on Kisley, and then coming in underneath Kisley to get the sack was Dotson. But once again, I mean,
that's a 3rd and long.
This is what teams face. You get 3 or 4 Hilltoppers in that backfield with you.
Ball will be marked all the way on the 29-yard line. So 3rd and very long now for Madison. 3rd and 19 to be exact. O'Brien again from the gun. 1 receiver on each side. Topper show blitz, now they back it out. O'Brien looking, and flags coming out. Stop that play.
That's in the area of an illegal procedure against Madison. Loss of 5, so they're already well behind the chains, and now they go even further. 3rd and 24 against this defense.
Madison.
Now they're about wiping out all the yards they have gained on this short drive.
Yeah, those are about gone. You're back to where you started in. You have to work so hard to gain yards against this defense, too. Don't want to put yourself in the hole like this.
So now 3rd and 24. O'Brien from the gun, claps his hands. Gonna hand it off, and he's hit immediately.
Looked like that was Fetchick who got back there, Matt.
And yeah, they did not let Alley do anything on that run.
Fetchick gets back there, makes the stop. Outside of the one-run play, not a lot of push for the Madison offensive line there. The Hilltoppers defensive line winning that battle in the trenches. And then the linebackers got back there to do a lot of damage for the Hilltoppers on that drive.
Now Fetchick will stand at his 42-yard line to receive this punt. Not a good punt. And it hits one of the Hilltoppers. And recovered by Madison at the 49-yard line.
Nothing you can do about that, Matt. These kind of things just happen. And
Madison.
Hilltoppers setting up to block. You got your back turned to the football, and that's a bad punt, and it just hits you in the back, and Madison able to fall on it. Those are the breaks sometimes. Nothing you can do.
Was an ugly punt. Going to keep the Hilltoppers out on the field and bounce the ball, if you will, my friend.
Yeah. The good news for the Hilltoppers is with your defense, you don't worry about it too much. It's one of those plays that you just have to shrug off because they happen. But it's easier when you have the Hilltoppers defense to kind of shrug it off.
Well, now Carson Alley will be the QB. Alley claps his hands. He's going to go straight. No, he's going to make a little cut near the line. Gets across the 50 down near the 48. Gain of about 2 on that run by the Blue Streaks.
Initial pressure came from Vuaklia, who got into the backfield as Zoran does a nice job to get back there and make that stop. Trying to go to the outside was Madison, but Hilltoppers everywhere right now.
Carson Alley, the sophomore, 5'8", 165. He has Bryant Perkin to his right. They're going to hand it off. Jet sweep around the right side to Kenyon Bonsella, who gains a few yards. Going to bring up, though, a 3rd and long.
That's how they like to use Bonsella in that jet sweep run, trying to go to the outside. First time they run it, you get the Hilltoppers looking differently, but Hilltoppers do a nice job out there to hold the edge and not really anywhere for Bonsella to go.
3rd and 6 for the Blue Streaks. And now it looks like Michael O'Brien, the senior QB, back in. They like to use the shotgun formation. O'Brien bootlegging out right side, looking to throw, ball up, and it's incomplete. Not even close to his intended target, Sam Kost.
Yeah, looking down there for Kost. Good coverage downfield there by the Hilltoppers. They were kind of back there in a zone and nowhere to put that football. Well done by Chardon, knowing their spots.
On 4th and 6, I would imagine we'll see the punting unit out there.
And once again, as we always say, Hilltoppers get off the field on 3rd down.
So Joey Sanchez out to do the kicking. He's a sophomore, 6'2", 205. Fetchick standing at his 10. High snap. Better kick this time. Fetchick telling everyone get away from it as it bounces back toward the 25-yard line. Will be touched near the 24, and that's where the Hilltoppers will come back out on offense.
Sanchez does a good job there, Matt, because your first punt was not very good. So you wonder if that's going to be in your head. Then you get a high snap, but he had the presence of mind to bring that down and get that one off. Well, hey, we now have a new streaming service. You can see GTV through Roku and Apple TV with the Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Once the user has added the app on Roku or Apple TV, they can watch both GTV channels, 1020 and 1025. Again, it's Cablecast ScreenWeave app. Visit GeaugaTV.org for more details.
Henry under center. He will fake the handoff, keep it around the right side. Henry 30, 35, spun around down near the 38-yard line, picks up the first down on that nice run.
Yeah, nice run there by Alex Henry, and that's 4 runs for him already, and he's looking good tonight on the ground, moving the chains.
Charlie Wade on the adventure.
Ryan, we have not seen the Hilltoppers go this heavy to Alex Henry this early in the game.
Oh, and
I like it.
I like it too. It's good to get him out there. He had a tough week last week, but he is the guy. He is the key to this offense, and you get him involved early, and he's making big plays, and everything will run through him in this offense.
Henry dropping back to pass, looking to throw left side toward Salka. Ball's up in the air. Salka makes the catch near that 30, on his feet, 20 down near the 15-yard line. Great catch by Nathaniel Salka, the big burst down.
And you know what, man? That was a perfect throw from Alex Henry. Hit it in a spot where only Salka could catch it. Well covered down there by Zappatelli. But Salka gets the ball where he can catch it, makes the play. Nice connection there between Henry and Salka. And, we had seen that over the past couple of weeks, that connection looking like it was firing up, and the two connect there.
10th reception of the year for Nathaniel Salka. Pettyjohn and Gaspar line up right out to the far side. And Henry going to keep it himself, trying to get around the right side. Stays on his feet, and Henry, a good run down inside the 10.
And it's all the Alex Henry show on this drive. A run, a pass, and a run. And he's got the Hilltoppers set up now at 2nd down and short at about the 10-yard line.
Brought down by Cody Quiggle.
Chardon, good position here. Toppers will break the huddle with Caden Dawson, the split end on the far side of the field. Henry under center has Pettyjohn, Carr, and I think that's Peterson out behind him. They will hand it off Sean Carr toward the end zone. He's in. Touchdown, Toppers.
Well, Sean Carr has the last 5 touchdowns for the Hilltoppers. The 3 last week and now 2 here tonight. And Chardon goes up 13-0. So you use your big playmaker to get you down the field. And then when you're in scoring range, give the ball to your big senior, Sean Carr. He rumbles in for the touchdown.
Well, they are slicing and dicing this young Madison Blue Streak defense early on in this one.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 drives have taken about 1:20 each. Madison's controlled time of possession, but that hasn't mattered as the Hilltoppers are slashing down the field here in this first quarter.
Set to kick the extra point. Will Francis to hold.
So the homecoming king, high snap, but no worries. That's why they all voted for him. They know he can make that kick.
King's not going to miss it tonight as he gets that one through the uprights.
Hilltoppers 14.
So 3:04 to go. Hilltoppers take a 14-0 lead.
Shout out to the Chardon Crazies.
Well, tonight's special cablecast is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees, and we'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding tonight's contest for their year-round support. They are Burton Village, Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all our viewers for their support.
A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, in an effort to keep Chardon Memorial Field a safe environment for all spectators.
Well, what a homecoming night here in Chardon.
Must be accompanied
We've got, I don't know, you're going to call it neon night? To me, it looks like ODOT night with all the safety vests out there.
The kids call it neon out, Matt, but it does look like ODOT. It looked like a number of students maybe went into a parent's or an aunt or uncle's closet and grabbed their neon work vest and brought it out today, though.
Yeah, U.S. safety gear. Maybe Home Depot out here had a run on the safety vest. But regardless, neon out tonight for the Chardon Crazies, and they are enjoying it. Their team up 14-0 on what promises to be a great homecoming weekend here in Chardon. Don't even bother returning that one in and out of the end zone for the touchback.
Tager's been so good at that this year, and Tager does it again there.
Well, if you're the Blue Streaks,
Hilltoppers take over on the 20-yard line.
Coming out, you made that 4th down conversion. They've got that going for them at this point in time, and I think one of the things they've learned is they've got to get that ball out quickly because they don't have time with the Chardon front 4 plus the linebackers.
Yeah, the offensive line for if Madison's going to get any traction offensively today, that offensive line is going to need to do a better job than they did on those first 2 drives because there was no push from that offensive front, no time for the backfield to work.
Carson Alley in at QB will hand it off, and there's just a ton of black jerseys around. I don't even know who the carry was. That time it looks like it was Bryant Perkins, 28.
Yeah, Perkins wasn't brought down, but he could get no forward progress. There are about 4 Hilltoppers on Perkins really quickly there.
No gain on it.
Forward progress gets him back to the line of scrimmage, and that was it.
Well, this Hilltoppers defense has proved game in, game out that they may give up a few pass yards here and there. Occasionally someone will break off a good run, but generally speaking, good luck trying to run the football against this squad. Alley looking to throw the ball. It's in the air, and it is caught. A collision Making his way down the field is Landon Albert at the 25, down near the 20-yard line, and a touchdown-saving tackle by Nathaniel Salka. Boy, there was a collision as the defender was going for the ball at the same time that Landon Albert was.
Down by Nathaniel Solka.
Yeah, you had two defenders in the area, so you had the corner come off to try to get that interception, and then you had the linebacker who was covering there, and they ran into each other, and that actually is what ended up opening up the run back there. So it's another one of those things. Landon Albert gets the big run back. It's one of those things that happens sometimes when you try to make a play, and this Hilltopper defense, they'll recover. They'll bounce back.
Yeah, Albert, the big tight end, 6'1", 190, so he does not go down easily. They're going to run the ball. Bryant stopped at the line of scrimmage and then brought down in the backfield. Boy, he had no chance there. The Hilltoppers just swarmed him again as Zorn Vuyaklia got in there to make that stop.
Vuyaklia has had a big start to this game. He's been in the backfield a lot, and there he is making another stop. As you mentioned, the back tries to bounce off the pile there, and Vuyaklia would not let him out of trouble, able to bring him down for a loss.
Zorn entered this game with 15 tackles in the season, and remember, folks, he's the backup QB. He didn't get that much playing time to start off the year, but as this season has progressed, especially when Brody Dodson got hurt, that's when we saw the emergence of Zorn Vuyaklia. Bad snap, Alley going back for it, and he will jump on it at the 35-yard line, a loss of 12 on that snap.
That was the right decision there by Alley, too. Don't let that situation get any worse. You know that the Hilltoppers have been in the backfield all night long. They were in the backfield again, and he just falls on that. And so once again, Madison going the wrong direction, and they've taken themselves out of field goal range here as they're all the way back at the Hilltopper 35.
Will be 3rd down and 24. Boy, they have had a number of third downs, 2, I think, maybe 3, where they were beyond 10 yards already in this one. 35 seconds and counting here in the third quarter. Madison, what may be the last play of this first quarter, going to look to pass the football. Some pressure coming. They'll throw it. It is caught. Nice catch near the sideline by Sam Koss. That will not be good enough for the first down, though. Well shy near the original line of scrimmage.
Well, it keeps you alive. You're now in position where you could pick up a first down. Good route there by Koss. Good job by Michael O'Brien rolling out of the pocket, staying away from the defense. You mentioned back, Matt, you want to get out of that backfield in a hurry. They did. They extend that play. Koss runs the right route and ends up able to make the catch.
So there will be one more play here at least in this first quarter. It's 4th and 11. Madison will go for it here. Michael O'Brien from the gun sends guys in motion. Fakes the hand up, looking to throw over the middle. Ball is incomplete. No flags, and we'll get a turnover on downs here with 15 seconds to go.
Yeah, great coverage down there by Leo Columbi. Blanketing the receiver. No way to get that pass in there, and the Hilltopper defense holds, gets off the field, and gets the offense back out there.
Leo Columbi on the cover.
Toppers up 2 scores already in this one, and wouldn't be surprised if they give the ball back to number 6 here, because he's had some nice runs so far.
Yeah, he brought the ball down the field on that last drive. Sean Carr finished it off, but it was all Alex Henry. A nice throw to Salka on that last drive.
And Henry going to give it up. He will hand it off. Sean Carr does some more bulldozing, and Carr across the 35 down near the 38-yard line.
No one touched Sean Carr on the first level, Matt, so he was able to get himself out into space and pick up the first down, and took the secondary to come in and bring him down to end the first quarter.
Now, officials say run that clock, and that will do it here. We have played a quarter. Toppers up 14-0. We'll take a timeout here on GTV. Well, we've played 12 minutes, and the Toppers up 14-0 in this one as they are on the move once again. Was a great run there by Sean Carr to close out that first quarter. And we have seen Sean Carr just continue to run through people.
Yeah, absolutely. And he did a great job. Didn't have to run through anyone on that last one. He was untouched in the first level.
Henry going to take it himself, and Henry got hit shortly after he crossed the line of scrimmage. Will pick up about 3 yards on that play across the 40, out near the 41. One of the few runs that Henry has not had much success on tonight.
One of the things New Philadelphia did well, especially in the second half against the Hilltoppers and Alex Henry, is keep a spy on him. They didn't really let him get anywhere going. Someone was assigned to Henry, and he kept that assignment. Imagining the Blue Streaks are looking to get someone keyed in on Henry here as well.
You know, it's funny you bring that up. New Philly, from what we saw last year compared to this year, is Henry going to look to throw it? Yes, he does. He hits a cross route, as that time it's Ryan Peterson who made the catch for the first down out near the 45-yard line. But you go back to that New Philly game, and I think it's safe to say the offense looked much slower, less speed than they did last year. But on the flip side of things, the linebackers seemed a little bit quicker this year than they did last year.
Yeah, and again, especially in the second half, the Quakers made an adjustment at halftime a week ago, and they're a good team, and they were at home, and they came out to make a statement in the second half, and their defense did make that statement, keeping the Hilltoppers off the board.
Henry looks like he's making an adjustment there at the line. We'll send Peterson in motion. And Peterson does get the carry. Peterson going around the left side, 40, 35, on his feet near the 30 and out of bounds.
Ryan Peterson, Hilltopper first down.
Nice run there by Peterson. So first, they give Peterson the ball in the passing game, and he makes a nice catch to move the chains, and they give him the ball on the ground, and a nice run to move the chains.
In the second quarter, South and Kenston, no score.
We saw, and we talked with Ryan Peterson throughout the year, and he's a young man who they've had plans for him in years prior based on his size and his speed of where they wanted to play him, but things just didn't quite work out. And this year it finally has, and he's been getting more and more opportunities, and he's really been embracing that role. This time they give us the Carr, and Carr dragging a couple Blue Streaks across the end zone. Touchdown, Sean Carr, a 31-yard run.
Third touchdown for Sean Carr, but Matt, we've been talking about Ryan Peterson. First he makes the play in the passing game, then he gets the ball on the ground, then he's the blocker in front of Sean Carr. And Sean Carr ran right behind Ryan Peterson. Peterson throws a great block for him at about the 15-yard line to open up the rest of the run. And Carr is into the end zone for a touchdown. So great night for Carr, 3 touchdowns, and this was a great series here for Ryan Peterson.
6 straight touchdowns now for the Hilltoppers by Sean Carr, going back to last week. And in all honesty, Sean Carr made that look so easy because he, had Ryan Peterson in front of him opening up such a huge hole. But the other thing was, just some good running by Carr as well. And now Nathan hits the scoreboard.
Well, once again, and you see it on both sides of the ball, the Hilltoppers are dominating in the trenches, and you see that on the multiple times. It seems like that defensive line can't even get a hand on the backs for Chardon, and just again able to run forward for the big run and the touchdown. Well, if you'd like to advertise on the new scoreboard here at Chardon Memorial Field, you can call the CHS Athletic Office, 286-0414, and they'll put you in touch with representatives of the Gridiron Club for details.
Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here. Congratulations, by the way, to Sierra Feller and Nathan Tagger, as they were the Queen and King, respectively, for the class of 2021 and Chardon homecoming night.
Yeah, always fun on homecoming weekend, and we're able to get this game in tonight, which is a good thing, and it's a good start for the Hilltoppers.
Great turnout by the community tonight, and hard to believe we're already, I don't want to quite say midway through October, because that's really technically next week, but we're getting close, and a lot of people still here in T-shirts. I've seen a bunch of kids in shorts. It is just phenomenal weather temperature-wise tonight.
The weather has been phenomenal all October so far.
Keep it up, Mother Nature. That kickoff again in and out of the end zone for the touchback. And the Hilltoppers have just very nonchalantly dominated this game.
Yeah, all business tonight for Chardon. They're back home after the long bus trip a week ago. It's homecoming night. They're going to have a big crowd, and they're just coming out here and getting the job done kind of as everyone expected. And sometimes it's difficult, to just come out when everyone expects you to come out and do it.
Here's something to think about, Ryan. Last week, in the first half, Chardon held New Philly to 28 yards of total offense and 1 first down. Now, granted, they've given up 2 first downs tonight and probably around that 28 yards, but, I mean, it has been impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, good start again for the Hilltoppers on defense.
Madison gets nothing there. Boy, the Hilltoppers just continue to get into the backfield and make life miserable for Michael O'Brien.
Well, that's a dangerous play, too. The way the Hilltoppers have been in the backfield all night long is O'Brien tried to pitch that one forward to Bonsella. And he's fortunate Bonsella is able to come up with it cleanly, and there weren't any Hilltoppers in the backfield. That's a gutsy play to call the way Chardon's been playing defense.
Oh, when you have, they call them dogs or beasts, depending on who you talk to, but it's a ferocious group. O'Brien feeling some pressure, stepping up, going to throw it out. Ball's caught by Koss near the line of scrimmage, gets out of bounds after a 2-yard gain. Check that it was Kenyon Bonsella who made the catch.
Bonsella does a nice job to get open there for his quarterback who's under pressure.
Oh, boy. Actually going to be I didn't see a flag come out, but they're calling a penalty against Madison.
Yeah, that's a legal receiver downfield, so
that flag for an ineligible receiver downfield.
That'll back it up 5 yards.
I don't know, maybe the official just couldn't get that flag out and said, you know what, I'm just going to walk over and tell you what happened.
Yep.
We'll make it second down
second and
long now. As Al Herner so succinctly just said over the PA system. Second and 21 to be specific. O'Brien will hand the ball off, and the Hilltoppers defense just staunch. They were not going to give anything up to Mitchell Polovic.
Yeah, once again, nowhere to go, and Polovic is pushed backwards, looked like in there for the Hilltoppers that time. I saw Alex Kisley get in there.
Polovic, a senior, 5'11", 175, but we were told by head coach Mike Gilligan that we're going to see a number of sophomores play tonight. And you know, Madison, you look at their football roster, and it is smaller than in years past, and I didn't count it, but it definitely they don't have the contingency that they've used to have.
Oh, not the same program it was 5 or 6 years ago right now.
3rd and 21 for the Blue Streaks. Flushing out right side, going to put the ball up in the air, incomplete, nearly intercepted. Toppers just couldn't keep it in bounds.
Yeah, dangerous pass there as Sulka jumped the route, but Michael O'Brien threw it just out of bounds.
Incomplete.
And the Hilltoppers defense, once again, a 3 and out.
O'Brien had some time, but just could not find anybody open.
A good coverage downfield, and that part of the way you get off the field on 3rd down, we've seen it already tonight, multiple times on 3rd down, that Hilltopper coverage downfield so good, just nothing open for the Blue Streaks.
Blue Streaks will punt this one again. End-over-end kick. Short kick bounces at the 42. Fetchick going to scoop it up near the 50. Breaks one tackle. Fetchick spinning around. Flags come out as Fetchick is down near the 38-yard line.
Flag on the play.
We'll wait and see. I think this one might be coming back here, Matt. Looked like that initial block for Chardon that allowed Fetchick to break free. Yeah, block in the back.
Illegal block called on Chardon.
Will push the Hilltoppers back into their own territory. And with all due respect to Madison, I don't know if it's going to matter.
Not the way things have gone tonight. I mean, the Madison defense has not shown that they have any answers. Alex Henry, a big game so far. Sean Carr, a big game. And Ryan Peterson, big drive on that last drive.
Toppers getting back to work offensively. Caden Dawson split end near side. They hand the ball off. Making one nice cut. That's Bruce. 40. Bruce to the 30. He's turning on the Jets. 20. 10 in the end zone. Touchdown Toppers. A 65-yard touchdown run for A.J. Bruce.
So A.J. Bruce, I mean, he's got explosive speed. We see that in the defensive secondary all the time. Bring him around on the jet sweep. He comes around. No work to seal the edge at all there by Madison. Able to blow through by A.J. Bruce. 65 yards, touchdown, and you saw him hit the Jets at the 30-yard line. No one could catch him.
Well, we've seen him return a touchdown on a kickoff, or get a return on a kickoff for a touchdown, and now on that end around. That's something that last year we saw happen, and I think the Hilltoppers are starting to figure out that they've got to get some of those guys, those playmakers, the ball. You just can't give it all to Sean Carr every single time. Tagger with the PAT attempt. It is good as he kicked it well over the stands.
You're right, Matt. You talk about Bruce or another guy who we see, Trey Liebhart, with a lot of speed. They're so important to what Chardon does defensively and how their defense got so good. But just lining Bruce up out there and giving that extra speed element adds so much more to Sean Carr's game when he's running the football, and another layer to the offense for the defense to have to think about. Hey, playoffs. Well, GTV hopes to provide playoff coverage this season again, and the Gridiron Club is stepping up to coordinate underwriting for those games. GTV does not have the budget, a budget under scrutiny by your local governments, to cover playoffs without a lot of help. So contact Tim Semler with the Gridiron Club at 440-487-3116 for details on how you can help fund playoff coverage here on GTV.
Well, you talk about the playoffs, and in all reality, it's become a three-horse race for the number one seed in Division III, Region 9. And when you look at the competition, you have Chardon, Dover, and Aurora. Chardon sitting 1, Dover 2, Aurora 3. And I would love to get into this in the second half, especially if we have a running clock. But needless to say, I sat down. My wife was watching that TV show with the nurses in the hospital last night.
Another touchback.
Gray's something or other. I don't know. I don't care enough to know what it is.
I was going to say that's at least a third of the television shows on TV, right?
It seems like it.
Yeah.
But adjourned to my office and was trying to crunch some numbers on potential playoff points. And if the Toppers take care of things, if all these three teams went out, it could be very close.
Yeah. As the rain arrives here at Chardon Memorial Field. Yeah, this could get tight as we get later, but, especially if you beat South, then you have all the big wins. I mean, if you beat South, you got that win over Kenston, a win over New Philadelphia, a win over Glenville. That's got to be giving a win over Ursuline. That's giving you plenty of points. I can't imagine the Hilltoppers not ending up number one overall.
They go back to the air. The ball is caught by the big man, Landon Albert, out near the 25.
O'Brien
nice
pass
pickup
complete.
On the O'Brien pass.
Yeah, get your tight end open in space. That's what the Blue Streaks did there.
Tackled by Heath. Fetchick.
Fetchick in on that stop, and just a local passing shower.
We have another illegal receiver downfield. That's going to be marked off again.
Another penalty on Madison.
Now the Blue Streaks doing what Chardon had been doing in previous games, and that is making mistakes. And we've talked with Coach Hewitt about that, and we've spoken about his team needing to play clean. And I think that we're seeing that tonight at least, early on.
I think we might be leaving the field here, Matt.
Well, based on what I'm seeing on my weather tracker, it's not even close. This is stuff that's in Willoughby Hills and in Pepper Pike. They need to let this game play.
They do.
Just get us to halftime.
I haven't seen any lightning. Have you, Matt? Nope, me neither. Gonna stay out there as the rain picks up.
I think maybe they were just talking about where the The ball should be placed, hopefully.
The ball was originally marked off from the 22, but that should have been 5 yards from the line of scrimmage, and they corrected that. They marked it off from the 20 to get it down to the 15.
So 2nd and 15 from the 15-yard line. Back at it here. O'Brien claps his hands, will go out right side, going to pitch it quick. Caught, but no gain on that play. Tremendous coverage by the Toppers. They were not going to let Sam Koss do anything there once he caught the football.
Yeah, doing a good job, the linebacking core tonight, of extending that line, so there's just nowhere to go if you're Madison. You can't turn a corner. You're in trouble as soon as you make a play, and Hilltoppers make a big stop on the far side of the field.
Well, for so many teams, these Hilltoppers present a nightmare matchup from a defensive standpoint. They're quick, physical, and hit hard. Coach Hewitt loves that about his team. They're going to fake the handoff, and instead it's Alley who runs toward the right side. We've seen Alley mostly in that Wildcat, although he's technically listed on the roster as a QB, but he tends to run that Wildcat offense.
Yeah, that's the way they run it when he's in there, and that's what he's been doing so far, but just nothing going there. They used him in that Wildcat to pick up their first down when they ran that play at 4th and 1. Otherwise, they haven't had much success with it.
It is now 3rd and 12 from the 18. O'Brien, quick drop, going to throw down the field and overshot everybody. Trey Liebhart, some good coverage there on Bonsella.
Yeah, Liebhart right there, no way to complete that pass. Once again, the Hilltopper D gets off the field on 3rd down, and the Blue Streaks are punting.
You look at Trey Liebhart, 2 interceptions this year. He's broken up 10 passes. He's recovered a fumble. Scored a touchdown on that fumble recovery. I mean, he's scored on special teams. He's scored an offense. He really has made an impact on all sides of the football this year.
Can't say enough about the corner play for the Hilltoppers, both Trey Liebhart and A.J. Bruce.
Fetchick picks it up near the 46, gets his block, goes straight ahead, and Fetchick brought down near the 42-yard line.
So Fetchick, nice return there to get his team up to the 40-yard line. And the other thing has been field position here for the Hilltoppers. When that defense forces those 3-and-outs like that, you end up getting the ball back around midfield every time, and that's what Chardon has done.
Homecoming night here in Chardon. Appreciate you tuning on GTV. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. Shout out to our camera guys today, Chris Graw, Spencer as well. Director, Brian Foster. Executive producer, Dave Jevnikar. Henry on the keeper, going around left side, picks up about 5 on that run as he nears the out-of-bounds line. But
was dragging a couple of defenders there with him.
You know, when you look at Alex Henry, between the first game of the year and now we're into week 8, he's definitely less tentative when he's running the football.
Yeah, there's been great improvement in Alex Henry this year. You know, the throws look better as the year has gone on, and as you mentioned, he looks more confident when he's making his decisions running the football, and he's a junior quarterback, so all this experience is going to build on top, and you're going to have a pretty good quarterback next year here in Chardon.
Handoff, and getting the first down and then some was Sean Carr.
First down.
Boy, Sean Carr says, well, you're going to do that? Give it to me. Let me see what I can do.
Yeah, Sean Carr moves the chains, and he pulls some defenders along, picks up about 15 yards.
Sean Carr definitely crossed the 500-yard mark tonight on the season. And hard to believe, too, that we're going to finish the season, and unless Carr or Henry have a couple games where they put up 250 yards in the next, against South and North, we will not have a 1,000-yard rusher tonight or this season. That pass from Henry fell just a bit short, incomplete, was looking for Dawson, but a flag in the backfield.
Yeah, that hit on, they're going to go holding against Chardon. Thought they were going to call on the defense, but they get holding against Chardon to mark them back. And that hold was in the backfield, so this is going to put them way behind the chains. Been a clean game for the Hilltoppers so far. It's their first penalty When you talk about not having 1,000-yard rushers when you're constantly starting with the ball at midfield, gets difficult to put up those kind of numbers, and that's what the Chardon defense has been giving you this year, the ball at midfield pretty consistently.
Well, you look at what happened last year. Really, you had... Oh, no.
I knew it was coming.
Timeout, Madison.
No, check that. Timeout, Madison, folks.
We keep waiting for it. Well, GTV is looking for cameramen and production assistants to help on our sports coverage. Email us at geogatv@windstream.net if you're looking for some fun part-time work. I don't know what we're worried about yet, Matt. I still haven't seen any lightning. Have you?
Lights. We've got beautiful lights here in Chardon.
Yes, that's
keeping
right.
the field lit.
That's right.
Can't believe a lot of the camera flashes, though, I've seen.
There's been a lot of camera flashes tonight. It's a special night. It's homecoming, you know. King and Queen were crowned before the game, so
I want to capture those memories.
That's right.
Career in real estate, the Bissett team at HomeSmart Real Estate Momentum is looking
But,
for new agents.
you know, going back to last season, because the Hilltoppers had something similar. The difference was you knew who was going to be getting the football. It was James Pettyjohn. And no doubt about that. You mix in Sean Carver now and then, and you had Fetchick also running the football. You know, this year, a little bit different, where they've really been trying to find their lead running back, and I think they finally settled in that it's the fullback, Sean Carr, who's going to be doing that. Henry coming to the right side, going to throw the ball down the field, looking for a man. Nearly made it play, but going to be an obvious pass interference. Peterson was held.
He made the throw. That was a perfect throw. Ryan Peterson had a touchdown there if it weren't for the hold. And
you can't blame the Madison defender, by the way. When you get beat, that's what you have to do. And that's what I think that was Charlie Wade.
Yeah, you know, it's not a spot foul here in high school. So you're right. If you get beat, sometimes the best play there is to reach out and grab that jersey and take that PI.
Well, and that essentially wipes out the holding.
It does, yeah. The holding's gone now. But, I mean, that throw had touchdown written all over it.
So Chardon with a 1st and 11 from the 22 now. Hilltoppers wearing those all-black uniforms, going left to right across your TV screen here. 5:46 to go before halftime, up 28-0. Henry looking to throw. Now he's going to move out toward the right side. Looks for a man. Did he make the catch? I believe so. They're going to move those chains. It was Carr who made the catch.
Yeah, great play by Sean Carr to go down there and pick that ball up basically off the turf. Nice job to get the catch and move the chains.
This Carr's 7th reception on the season will create a 1st and goal situation. And I wouldn't be surprised here if we see number 41 getting the ball. Why not? He scored the last 6 Topper touchdowns. They give it to Carr, makes a couple cuts. That's number 7, touchdown Toppers.
7 out of 8 for Sean Carr, only broken up by A.J. Bruce earlier in the half. Big run there for Sean Carr, and you were right when you said it early in the drive, Matt. They've kind of settled in on Sean Carr as the lead back on this team, and offense really driving with him moving things along.
He looks so comfortable running the football, and we're starting to see, if you've noticed at least tonight, it's not the normal battering ram that we're used to with Sean Carr. He's actually made some nice cuts, and you've been able to also see his speed tonight too, which generally you don't get to see because he's just used to knocking people over.
You think of him as the battering ram because, you know, last year when James Pettyjohn was on this team, his job was the fullback, and the fullback is the battering ram. But now he's out there as the tailback, and you get to see his cuts and his moves in open space. He's got a different job, and we get to see all the different things Sean Carr has to offer. Well, our next football game versus South is an away game with a 7 p.m. kickoff. GTV's coverage will be audio only, as we normally do for away games. Just so you know, The home school has control over streaming, and many press boxes do not have internet or sufficient internet to allow us to stream. Chardon's phone booth press box does have internet, and that makes it possible to stream home games. So that's why there are oftentimes we can't stream those away games.
Absolutely, but yours truly happy to be doing the game. Ryan, are you? I can't recall. We've got a bunch of stuff going on, I know, in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but it should be a lot of fun next week when Chardon takes on South.
Hamden Street, right here in Chardon, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m.
And last we heard, it was the second quarter, and South and Kenston were still scoreless. So
you have two teams that have two backup QBs in that are battling injury. South down 3 running backs at this point in time.
Yeah, both those teams offensively decimated by injuries this year.
Another touchback.
Well done by Nathan Tagger.
And, that's something where, and I want to get into this next week, but from at least a paper standpoint, while you're going to get some points no matter what happens if they can beat South next week, their toughest game on the schedule has already happened, in my opinion. You had Youngstown Ursuline, who was very tough. You had Glenville, who was a tough opponent. Riverside certainly gave them a challenge. And then New Philly.
Yeah, you were kind of looking at a situation earlier in the year, like every other week is going to be difficult. Unfortunately for the Rebels, they've had injuries, and so that kind of makes it look like the schedule's, not as tough for the Hilltoppers here down the stretch.
Michael O'Brien going to keep it himself, and boy, he met a slew of Hilltoppers. I saw Fetchick in there, Kisley in there.
Alex Kisley with the
I think
initial hit.
Washington was in there as well. A lot of black jerseys around the QB. It's interesting, too, because tonight they haven't really been able to get all the pressure that we normally see from the Hilltoppers, but I think due in part because Madison is just having so many quick throws.
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball out of the pocket in a hurry, but those defensive linemen, we're not saying their names as much. They're doing a great job opening up gaps for the linebackers to come through, and the linebackers have been doing that tonight.
O'Brien going to hand it off. Bonsella trying to go right side. Nowhere to go. Hilltoppers just playing some great defense. Kisley in on that stop again. And you talk about him because he kind of got lost in the shuffle of everything. The Alex, wasn't a starter. And we really didn't see him until a few games into the season when he started making an impact. But already entering tonight, 24 total tackles, 13.5 tackles for losses. Leads the team in TFL.
Yeah, he's been great. And that whole defensive line has been so good. That's why you can't run against Chardon. And he is leading the charge from the defensive line position tonight.
3rd and 6 from the 23. O'Brien will send Bonsella in motion. Feeling some pressure, going to try to dump it off. He does. Gets to his running back, Brian, who is brought down shy of the 30-yard line. So Bryant Perkins made the catch, but going to be short of the first down marker. And in all likelihood, I would expect Madison to punt here with 3:39 to go before halftime.
Yeah, they went for it on 4th and 1 around midfield and were successful. This is 4th and 2 inside your own 30. So here comes the punt unit out to get this one away. Hilltoppers have already got a running clock when the second half starts tonight. They're looking to add on before they head into the locker room.
They would love to go 42-0. So Sanchez gets the punt off. Best punt of the night for him. Fetchick going to call for the fair catch around the 43, and he will make it. It's been one of those nights here where the Toppers have put up already 35 points with about 3 minutes to play in the first half, and the crowd's out of this one already.
Yeah, I mean, it's
decided, essentially, in their mind.
Yeah, they've run away. They've run out to a big lead. That light rain we had for a brief shower has passed, and don't see as many camera flashes out there anymore as we were seeing, so looks like we're going to be able to finish this one off, and it's gearing up to be a great homecoming weekend here in Chardon.
Toppers 1st and 10 from their 45-yard line. Henry going to hand the ball off, and that time it's Daniel Pettyjohn with the carry. Pettyjohn about a 3-yard gain. Pettyjohn, one of those running backs who they've kind of struggled to find his role, I think. It's just, if you follow the team last year, of course, his brother James was one of the focal points of the offense, but two completely different styles of running. The fake to Peterson, and Henry going to go up the middle. Henry spun around and brought down about a yard shy of the first down marker near the 46. Going to get a nice spot. They're going to put it actually at the 44 for the first down.
Nice run there by Alex Henry. He's had a good game on the ground. And when you got Alex Henry moving, it opens up everything else. Big runs for Sean Carr.
Toppers practicing their hurry-up offense here. Henry from the gun puts Peterson in motion. Will drop back to pass. Couple receivers going to look to go over the middle. And the catch, it was made! What an adjustment and a tremendous catch for the Hilltoppers. That time it's Caden Dawson.
Caden Dawson runs a nice route, gets himself open, gets the catch from Alex Henry. And
on the reception.
Tell you what, Alex Henry looks really good tonight. He's definitely shaken off those 3 interceptions from a week ago, Matt. He looks solid in that passing game.
It was Dawson's second catch of the season. First one went for 25 yards. That was another big gain. Peterson goes in motion. They hand it off to Ryan Peterson. 10 to the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown, Toppers.
Touchdown, Hilltoppers.
Oh, Ryan Peterson has had such a great first half. He had a touchdown taken away from him on the PI, so it's nice to see them get the ball to Ryan Peterson and see him get into the end zone and cash that one in for a touchdown. He's had a great first half, and now he gets to cross the goal line.
14-yard touchdown run by the senior. Strike up the band. Hey, that's a good reminder, by the way. Stick around at halftime. We will have the band for you.
Yeah.
Always sound good.
Huh?
And don't forget, they're going to have their special Halloween show in a couple weeks.
Excited for that one.
Tagger's PAT up and good. He hit the scoreboard
and the kick is
another
good.
time
the
tonight.
Score, yours.
Boy, he might be
42.
wearing himself out here.
Madison, 0.
Made 6 PATs and 6 kickoffs in just the first half.
Yeah, a lot of work for Tagger here tonight, and yeah, you mentioned it. It's got to the point now where you don't have to say, did he hit the scoreboard every time he kicks? He hits that scoreboard.
Well, the one time he went just to the left of it and cleared the stands.
For the most part, he's broken in the new scoreboard here at Chardon Memorial.
I wonder if they got that like Gorilla Glass that covers it, that you can, not dent it.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you can catch this game on GTV.
We'll have to tell Dave to go buy some.
That's channel 1025 on Saturday at 6 and 9.
Want to see him and Doug Snyder get the ladder out and apply it.
Also catch the game streaming at ChardonAthletics.org.
Hey, Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here, folks. Just under 2 minutes to go before halftime, and it has been
Nathan Tagger set
quite the game for the Chardon offense.
It really has been. They've played. This is what we expected. We talked about it at the start of the game. After a tough second half a week ago, you expect them to come out focused and ready to go here against their conference rival Madison, and they have. We've gotten exactly the Chardon offense we thought we were going to see tonight.
Tagger puts that again in and out of the end zone for the touchback.
I say, not only is Tagger 6 for 6 on PATs, I think he's 6 for 6 on touchbacks tonight.
That would be about right. Toppers, assuming they don't give up a score here, will be 12 straight scoreless quarters for the defense.
Yeah, this is a tough defense to score on, and they're getting better as the season goes on. And so they don't give you anything in the passing game. They don't give you anything on the ground. That about says it all.
Madison will look to run the ball, and nothing going there. Fetchick in on that stop. He got there quickly.
Well, going for that Wildcat again with Carson Alley.
Carson Alley on the carry.
For the most part, you pretty much know if Carson Alley's back there at quarterback, you're getting the Wildcat, and the Hilltoppers zoned in on that, only gave up the 1 yard. Madison gets the ball to start the second half, Matt, so they are in no hurry here on this final drive of the first half.
Nope, they're going to take their time and make sure the Hilltoppers do not get the ball again. And really, the only question will be, as they do a run play up the middle, spinning around, I think that's Bryant Perkins. But the only real question is going to be, do the Hilltoppers starters even play in the second half?
Bryant Perkins.
Yeah, that's a couple weeks ago against Kenston, we saw Zoran Vujaclia come out at quarterback with the rest of the first team offense for a drive. Maybe we'll see that again, but we'll have to wait and see what the coaching staff decides to do this week.
Yeah, I mean, question is now you're into week 8, and these guys have put a little bit of miles on them on their bodies this year. Postseason is essentially 2 weeks longer than normal. Last year excluded. Alley looking for something. Now he's going to turn the corner, try to run. Alley hit and dropped shy of the 30.
Carson Alley on the keeper.
So with that, you have to balance keeping guys healthy and fresh for the long run.
Yeah, they've added that extra game to the postseason, which is why we started a week early, why we're in week 8 instead of week 7. And, you're going to have to watch that. And not as many running clocks this year for the Hilltoppers as last year. So you're right, more mileage on your first unit. But the other thing is these guys are young. They're well-conditioned, work hard in practice. So they're ready to go all 4 quarters, certainly at a moment's notice.
And that's the end of the
half.
half.
With that, the clock strikes 0. We have a 42-0 Topper lead here.
0.
We've reached halftime, so stick around because we've got some great music coming for you up next, courtesy of the band.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Introducing the 2021 Chardon Hilltopper Marching Band. The band is being led onto the field by our senior drum major, Mike Molesky. Our show tonight will transport you back to the vibrant disco dance clubs of the 1970s. Up first by a group formed in Steubenville, Ohio, Get Your Groove On with Wild Cherry and their hit from 1976, Play That Funky Music. feature our majorettes, Faith, Lauren, Courtney, Hallie, Julianne, and Savannah in a tune by the ultra-popular group Kool and the Gang. Get ready to get down with Jungle Boogie. Wind and Fire was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the year 2000 and is one of the most commercially successful acts of all time, covering styles from funk to jazz to Latin. To close our show this evening, we feature our Topperettes with captains Lindsey Craig and Alana Kolick. Here's Boogie Wonderland. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Chardon High School Fight Song.
Well, nice halftime performance by the band.
Yeah, great work. Both bands, incredible job out there, and
Good sound.
Good sound, and now in the second half, it's October football, Matt.
Indeed it is. Welcome back, everyone, to Chardon Memorial. Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you here on GTV. Folks, the rain has returned, and it is looking like it might stay for a while.
Yeah, it's turned into a little bit of a downpour here. Hardest rain we've had all night, and the wind picked up, got a little chillier. Everyone was reaching for their jackets, and you look around, you're like, okay, it looks like a Week 8 game now.
Spencer can turn around. He's got Christian Hall dancing right behind him, enjoying the rain. Well, not anymore. Anyways, Nathan Tagger going to put a foot into that one. Going to be a little short and bounce around the 10, and will be picked up near the 5 right side. Across the 20, 25, 30 before he's brought out of bounds. Then a late flag.
Yeah, the second player who came in for Chardon came into that play way late. That's going to attack 15 yards onto the end of that.
Those are the kinds of mistakes that head coach Mitch Hewitt said you have to get rid of. You have to get rid of and stop.
Yeah, you know, the thing is, in a 42-0 game here in Week 8, that is relatively meaningless, but those are the type of mistakes that need to be eliminated by the time we're talking it's Week 13, Week 14 here. So remember, we will have 16 weeks now.
So the Blue Streaks will be getting the ball in some pretty good field position right now to start the second half, and at least they've got that going for them.
Yeah, this is the best field position they've been at since the first couple drives of that game. You remember they picked up a first down on the first drive. The second drive they picked up a first down too, when they just kind of got fortunate and a receiver got open. They got a big play. That was their only time in Chardon territory tonight. Here they're starting at about the 42-yard line.
Yards have been very hard to come by for this Blue Streak squad, and not surprisingly so. Most teams have struggled against this tough Hilltopper defense.
Well, you know, Matt, we have the running clock tonight, and so while all this was getting worked out, the first 2 minutes of the second half has expired.
Hey, these fans who brought the umbrellas will be glad to see that. O'Brien will hand it off right side. That's Alley. And a little gain there, was wrapped up quickly and brought down.
Yeah, good work in the backfield there for the Hilltoppers to come in and get the stop. They get Christian Hall in the backfield to get the stop.
Have not called his name much tonight.
We have not, but he's been involved. As I mentioned, the linebackers have been in the backfield all night long.
Second and 10 now from the 42. And it's Alley who's going to get the call. Alley runs his way left side across the 45, down near the 47. And nice little gain for the Blue Streaks will bring up third down.
Going with that Wildcat offense there with Alley, and he does a nice job there to pick up 5. So it's third down and 5. And this is where the Hilltopper defense really shines on third down, getting off the field.
Michael O'Brien returns into the game as a QB for the Blue Streaks. O'Brien, we've seen him out of that shotgun all night long. And now, first time we've seen this, Alley lines up to his right, so maybe some trickeration here. Rain is now pouring down, man in motion. O'Brien feeling some pressure, stepping up, they got him and he's sacked. Brody Dotson in on that sack.
Brody Dotson was back there, Alex Kisley was back there, and you know, Madison's done such a good job of getting out of the pocket and avoiding the pressure. They haven't taken a sack yet until that play right there. Well done, as you know, Kisley and Dotson just collapsed the pocket in on O'Brien.
3rd and 16 from the 37. Check that, fourth down, I beg your pardon. They will punt the football, and nobody back for Chardon. Why not? Will be touched up around the 22, so out come the Hilltoppers. And it looks like we're going to see some of these starters in. Alex Henry's night is done. Zoran Vujaklia comes in to run the offense. Pettyjohn in as well. I don't see Sean Carr. He's on the sideline. So Carr may be done as well tonight.
Yeah, but this is pretty similar to what we saw a couple weeks ago against, Kenson. You put Vujaklia out there with largely the first group on offense for this first drive.
Zach Fay will also come out as a running back. 7:50 to play here in the third quarter. 42-0 Hilltoppers. Running clock as it was all Chardon in the first half. Vujaklia will hand it off Peterson. Right side, 25-30. Peterson up near the first down. He gets it out near the 35-yard line.
It's been a good night for Ryan Peterson. We talked about in the first half. He had a couple of nice catches, a touchdown in there, and some good runs as well. And he gets the first offensive carry of the second half for the Hilltoppers.
Chains will move forward 1st and 10 now from the 35. Ethan Gaspar, the split end out on the right side. Zoran under center, sends Pettyjohn in motion. The give is to Pettyjohn. Pettyjohn makes a cut, has Peterson in front of him, picks up a few more yards.
Nice job there by Pettyjohn. Just the second carry of the night. Picks up a couple.
Now, Pettyjohn just struggling to get outside lately. Something they've been working on in practice, trying to get him to be, I think, a little bit more aggressive on the runs. He had Peterson in front of him that time making the block. 2nd and 8 now for the Hilltoppers, and it will be Vujaklia up the gut. Vujaklia across midfield down near the 47-yard line. Just went straight up the middle.
This offense just works so well, Matt. And, every player on this offense knows their job, knows their assignment. So you put someone in motion, sweeping to the outside, you get the linebackers moving that way, and then Vujaklia able to run through the middle for a first down. We see Alex Henry on that run so often, and Vujaklia can check in and pick up the first down on it as well.
Gaspar will line out right on the split end. Fay is in the game at running back, and he gets the call. And Fay out near the 40-yard line. Nice run by Zach, of course. Remember, his older brother Nick was an anchor on that offensive line last year.
Yeah, Nick Fay did a great work on that offensive line. There you see Zach Fay with a nice run there.
Now it is just a monsoon, folks.
This is a downpour.
A deluge. Now you can see it right there on the camera.
A few years ago, Matt, you and I were at a VASJ game, and Coach Story referred to this as a gully washer.
Yes,
if I remember correctly when we were talking to him.
Vujaklia keeps it, goes around the left side and running room. Zoran down inside the 30, near the 20. So the Hilltoppers putting themselves in some good position here with just under 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Officials will spot the ball at the 24-yard line.
And this group, Matt, scored on the first drive of the second half in the Kenson game as well. Put them out there with Zoran at QB, and they got into the end zone and scored. And it was 42-0 at halftime as well in that game, and they added on that touchdown to make it 49-0.
Pettyjohn in motion. Pettyjohn the call, right side makes a cut. Pettyjohn on his feet, being pushed backwards, spins around, and Pettyjohn down near the 12.
Nice run there by Pettyjohn to pick up the first down and move the chains.
That's another Hilltopper first down.
Derek Mardula going to bring in the play. He will be the split end out to the left. Z will hand the ball off. And going left side, I think that might have been Pettyjohn. It was tough to see a number from this vantage point up here.
Yeah, we've got a weird angle here on the sideline, but I think you're right. I think that was Pettyjohn.
Next, that was Drago.
Oh, Drago.
The younger brother. Max and Zoran's younger brother. 2nd and 5 from the 7. Zorn will go under center, will fake the handoff, try to get around the right side. One man to beat with the stiff arm, cuts it up, and he is in the end zone. Touchdown, Toppers!
And Zoran just kept those legs moving. He wanted that touchdown, Matt. He wanted to get in the end zone, and he does a good job to get in there and finish that off as he was able to evade the tackle from Charlie Wade. The defensive back was really trying to chase Vulia down, but Zoran able to run outside of his tackle and get in there for the touchdown.
So the touchdown run by Zoran makes it 48-0. And now, tag route to attempt a much more difficult PAT with this wet field. You know, the good thing is it's not grass, so it's not, well, it's a bad snap. They're going to try to do something with it. They'll throw it up toward the end zone, ball batted away and incomplete. You can't fault Will Francis, the holder. The snap went into the ground, and it is what it is.
I mean, it's an absolute downpour.
I'm surprised he was even able to see it, honestly.
Early in the year, there were some issues. They had those ironed out. That's not related. This is just a downpour.
That's straight up weather.
Yeah, it's a downpour, and that's the kind of thing that it happens sometimes. Well, tonight's special Cablecast is funded by your cable subscriber franchise fees, and we'd like to again extend thanks to all the GTV funding communities, including those not funding tonight's contest, for their year-round support. They are Burton Village, Chardon Township, the City of Chardon, Middlefield Village, and Munson Township. Thanks again for supporting GTV, and thanks to all our viewers for their support. It's been absolutely terrific.
Well, the Chardon Crazies trying to get something going here, and why not? It's homecoming weekend. It's a total downpour tonight. They're in it. Most of them just have their ODOT gear, standard issued.
Well, I'll tell you what, you earn the nickname Crazies when your team is winning 48-0 and you're all still in the stands, no umbrellas, in the downpour, cheering them on. You earn the term Chardon Crazies there, and they have not left their classmates. They are still here supporting them.
And it's amazing all the pounding those Class 2 safety, some Class 3 over their safety vests can take in this rain. Still shining brightly. Fine young Chardon kids out there.
Matt, you tried to get an endorsement?
I deal with a lot of the construction industry, just saying. I'm up on the whole OSHA thing.
That ball covered by number 26, Noah Holoff.
Well, we play on here. Clock will continue to run. Of course, it stops during the touchdown, the extra point, and the kickoff.
So we're moving now.
Yep.
Matt, we're gonna have to take responsibility for this downpour. We were talking about how nice the October weather has been to this point.
We knew it. Look, folks, we knew it was coming tonight. It was in the forecast. I'm not taking any responsibility for this. Bad snap. It's high. It's on the ground. Allie going to fall on it down near the 23.
Those footballs are really wet right now, and we saw the issue on the snap for the PAT attempt for the Hilltoppers, and now you see the first snap that Kenston goes for there. It's just their
well, it's been a rough night for the folks from Madison. The good news for them is they've got a relatively short drive back. It's not like a 3.5-hour drive like Chardon had last week to come home from New Philly. On the QB keeper, nothing going there. So many black jerseys, about 5 of them. Pick your Hilltopper.
Yeah, you just get to the football, and when you talk to some of these defensive players, that's what they all say all the time. We just got a bunch of guys that want to get to the football, and that's what they do. They get in there and they make those stops, the big plays.
Third down and 15. Fake handoff, and Allie's going to go left side, has some running room near the 40. First down for the Blue Streaks.
Now, even late in the game, you don't expect to see someone pick up a 3rd and 15, but Allie just does a great job, gets to the outside, finds that space, picks up the first down, and moves the chains.
Hey, I want to send a hello, and thank you out to Dennis and Lillian Graw for watching us. Really appreciate that. I was going to do it in the second quarter, but too much action going on, too many points.
That's right.
Well, folks, we have played 3 quarters. With that, we're going to take a timeout here on GTV. Toppers up 48-0. Well, we return to action here in the 4th. Fumble, ball on the ground. Madison will pick it up. They get it back, a little bit of gain on that, maybe a couple yards.
You know, it's on nights like this, Matt, when you really appreciate a few years ago the OHSAA going to the running clock, because when it's a downpour like this, you can see how wet the field conditions are. The ball is slipping out of people's hands. It's just good to get this over with as quickly as possible. Keep everyone, away from the injury bug and get yourself to another week.
So 2nd and 8 now for Madison, and Allie going to keep it, going to go right side again, and wrapped up and brought down shy of the 45-yard line.
Robert Gunderman and Ethan Gasser on the tackle.
We're starting to see some substitutions in on the Madison side. Of course, for the Hilltoppers, a lot of new faces as well defensively. Allie will keep it and will run again up the middle. Picks up the first down. Stop on that time by Zach Callis.
Nice run there by Allie.
Zach Fay on the tackle.
Zach Fay able to get in there and get a stop for the Hilltoppers.
Rain beginning to subside a little bit, at least not coming down nearly as hard as it was a couple minutes ago.
Well, there we go.
Well, folks, we can't stop that one.
No,
the officials,
the lightning's been gone. You get one rogue strike, and now we got a half-hour delay.
Well, we will see what's going to happen here, because Mike Gilligan may very well say he's done. They're not going to finish this last quarter. Or we may wait a half an hour and come back and play. I don't know. We will find out. And when we do, we will have some information for you. So I guess just hang tight here, because we have to step aside now for a half an hour from now. We will hopefully resume play here from Chardon Memorial. Hilltoppers up 48-0. GTV, Matt Jaworski, Ryan Radke with you. Well, the news is good if you're a fan. The game has been officially canceled, or it's ended. It's over.
Ended. The game has been officially ended.
I don't want to say can't, but it's been. The coaches agreed that running clock situation, 48-0 Hilltoppers. Just call it at this point in time. So the Hilltoppers 48-0 winners tonight. That last 10 minutes, what was it, 48 seconds? Just wipe it off.
Yeah, so big win tonight for the Chardon Hilltoppers, and I'll tell you what, they looked great in that first half of this game. The defense as always, but Alex Henry made some great throws in that first half. We saw Sean Carr 3 more touchdowns. Ryan Peterson had a great game as well, and then you can't forget, loved that sweep run 65-yard touchdown by A.J. Bruce. Everything was clicking for the Hilltoppers tonight, and a good win over Madison on homecoming night.
Absolutely. The Hilltoppers looked sharp, and you also have to give the defense credit. Another shutout tonight. Yeah,
they did their job, got off the field on third down. Didn't create any turnovers, but you don't always have to do that. The defense, just another great job. It's impossible to move the football against them. They don't give you anything in the run game. The coverage downfield is locked down. Good luck moving the ball against this defense.
Well, we hope that the rain has come through tonight and that tomorrow is a dry homecoming for the Chardon kids. Certainly, we don't want it to rain in anybody's parade, if you will.
No, the rain's already letting up here on the field. So,
well, with that, we want to thank everyone for sticking with us tonight. Hilltoppers and 48-0 winners. Thanks going out to executive producer Dave Jevnikar, our cameraman Chris Grob, Brian Foster, Spencer, and my partner tonight, Ryan Rackney. I'm Matt Jaworski. On behalf of all the rest, we wish you all the best.